Welcome back to the Football Terrace, the World Cup 2022 Qatar draw live. Starting about 5 o'clock, so we've got a bit of a build-up for you as we move forward. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Give that QR code on your screen a little bit of a scan as well. I'm joined by none other than KJ. We're going to bring more people in throughout the course of this as well. We're going to be going through the live pots, what teams are in, and of course, going through the situation, there's still a number of teams that need to qualify from Europe and the rest of the world. We're going to delve into that in a little bit more detail for you later on. We're going to take a look at who the odds-on favorites are to win the World Cup as well. So lots to talk about, lots to delve into during this show as well. Make sure you're smashing like buttons, though, people. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace right about now. Very important that you go and get that done. KJ's here with me. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Feels like time since I've last been on, but yeah, man, life is blessed, bro.
It's been a minute, mate. It's been a minute, and look, the World Cup, the Euros were amazing from a Football Terrace point of view. I think we loved every single minute of it, barring maybe the nastiness at the end, really, after it all ended. But the overall tournament, the football, the togetherness that it created was massive, and hoping for the same from this World Cup.
Yeah, it's going to be very different. It's going to be very interesting. Obviously, being in the winter time goes against all tradition of football. Really and truly, like the World Cup is a summer tournament, same as the Euros is a summer tournament. Like it needs to be there, but the decision makers decided to put the World Cup in winter. We all know why. We ain't speak about it today, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it is where it's there, and going to be an adjustment period for most people. But looking forward to it. The World Cup is always great to see fans from around the world come together and support their country with such passion. So yeah, I hope every team has a good tournament in their eyes. You know,
mate, I hear you on that. And look, it's going to be weird from a European perspective, because in my lifetime I can't ever remember, and in fairness, most tournaments of the summer, as far as very rarely do you have a season disrupted. We've just kind of had it with AFCON, and of course it's different because the season isn't going to continue. There's going to be a break in the middle of the campaign, so it adds a real different element. I think what I'm quite excited about, though, with that is that you're going to start the season off, you're going to hit November or December, it's going to stop, and then you're going to have this brilliant World Cup for a month, and then a little break, and then the Premier League kicks off again. So normally the World Cup, you have a month build up, you have the World Cup, and then you have to wait a whole month for the games to start. It's going to be amazing. And I quite like the idea of it. I don't actually like the transfer window being disrupted by international tournaments, and that's just a personal preference. So looking forward to it. Deborah Luck here says, Vamos Argentina, Vamos Messi, the best ever. I need to actually change my branding on here. I don't like that. There we go. That's much better. As you can see there, obviously very, very, very excited about the idea of seeing Messi. You know, and Messi and Ronaldo probably going to be their last World Cups as well. Both will be 41 and 39 respectively the next time around. So yeah, it's going to be an intriguing one, you know, with both of them going. It's going to be the final two times more than likely that we get to see these two. There we can see Portugal and Argentina both in pot one, with Brazil, Belgium, France, Spain, of course, Qatar, or England. I mean, England were always going to be in that with semi-finals and final appearances in the last two major tournaments that they have been in. But there's so many good teams going. Of course, some big shocks, the likes of Algeria and Egypt not going. Italy being knocked out is massive, though, isn't it? Especially from a European standpoint.
It is, but at the same time, it's not, because when's the last time we've been in World Cup? They haven't been since they won it, like something ridiculous like that. So it's a weird one. We're used to not seeing Italy at the World Cup. We'd like them to be there, especially being European champions as well. You'd always want the team that won the Euros to at least be at the World Cup to kind of represent the continent. But Italy as a footballing nation and where they are right now in terms of the international cycle, they've been not going to the World Cup. So it's not really a shock. I think it's a shock because they won the Euros. That's like the biggest part.
And they look so good at the Euros.
They look sick.
Looked amazing. And look, they petered out a little bit. I say petered out. When they went up against better opposition later on, it was a little closer, but they were the best team by a country mile at the Euros for me, defensively, in midfield, and for large parts in the attack as well. And it is a big shock to not see them there as well. Nigeria also missing out, a team in my lifetime. I mean, the kit. There isn't going to be the announcement. That's the biggest thing. The kit ain't coming, bro.
That is, I think, for me personally, that is the biggest shock of them all. The biggest shock of them all is Nigeria not going World Cup, because they are one of the most iconic World Cup teams ever. I don't care what anyone says. They are always there, and they're always facing Argentina in the group stage. I don't know how many times it's happened, but it's happened so many times. In the last how many World Cups there have been, Argentina, Nigeria was always going to happen. I wanted to happen one more time to see if the Super Eagles could finally defeat Messi, but it is not meant to be. And I'm good. But at the same time, there was a lot of my Nigerian friends were chatting a lot of was. You know what I mean? Chatting a lot of was recently with their gas with their team. So part of me is kind of like, it's kind of amusing at the same time. But hold tight, Nigeria. Hopefully the African nations can do well. Get to at least the quarters.
Yeah, and they'll bounce back from this without a shadow of a doubt. You know, such an iconic, brilliant nation. You know, at international tournaments, I'm sure they will return. I'm sure they'll bring themselves, you know, back to the peak of their powers moving forward. There's no doubt. And of course, the Algeria game. I wasn't watching it live. I was watching Portugal, but the drama. They score a goal in nearly the 120th minute, 118 and a half minutes or something. They're through. I've seen the footage of the Algerian people for letting off fireworks and celebrating. 2.5 minutes later, they are out. The beauty and pain in football personified in moments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mad, absolutely mad. And as if you're a Nigeria fan, like, hold tight, my guy Elias and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I saw the pain that in his tweets about what happened, and that's crazy, man. But at the same time, Cameroon are probably celebrating like mad. You know what I mean? Like, they've got probably one of the most joyous moments in football. Their last minute goal to get you through to the competition or win a competition. Obviously, Man United fans know about that very well. Man City fans know about that very well. Like, it's just a beautiful taste. And you know what? That's the thing about football, man. Someone's got to take the L. Someone's got to take it. And you just hope it's not you. That's all football is right now. You know what I mean? Hope you don't take the L. Hope you don't experience the pain that is conceded in the last minute to foolishness as well. The fact it was foolishness too, I feel for the Algerian fans. I really do.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I really, really do. It's painful moments in football sometimes. Why is YouTube hiding the England flag? I have no idea what you're talking about. That's a new one on me. No idea about that.
Apparently, if you put the England flag in, it turns black. So I don't know why they've been blocking that on YouTube.
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know what I'll go on there.
I ain't getting involved in that one. We're going to talk about the favorites and who we think are favorites coming up really soon. Obviously, I wanted to explain a few things, though, first and foremost. So what you'll see when the draw comes out is it still hasn't been decided in the Pacific region as of yet. There are a number of teams, New Zealand, Costa Rica, New Zealand, Australia, Peru, a few teams that still need to qualify. But of course, from a European standpoint, because of the situation between Russia and the Ukraine, the invasion there, Scotland's semi-final against the Ukraine has been postponed until June. The winner of that game will play Wales in the final eliminator also in June. So the hope is, from FIFA's point of view, is that situation is hopefully resolved and fixed and back to where everybody wants it to be come June, and the Ukraine rightfully get to play that game. Of course, it's sort of 2 months away, 2.5 months away. Fingers crossed things are resolved by then and we're moving in a much kind of better direction. So that's why what you'll see is a number of teams' names in there. There's sort of 29 of the 32 teams' places are confirmed. So there's still 3 places up for grabs.
Yeah,
I think so. UAE, Australia, Peru, or Costa Rica and New Zealand will make up 2 of the teams. And then either the Ukraine, Scotland, or Wales will make up the final European place that is still up for grabs.
You also see that I don't know what journalists wrote this, but they said that Scotland and Wales should give up their place or their chance to get to the World Cup and give it to Ukraine. I don't know about you, yeah.
Sorry, who should?
With Scotland and Wales, because obviously they're the two teams that Ukraine have to face to try and get there. This journalist was saying they should give it up and let Ukraine go in. Now, listen, I get what's going on is mad. I get it. But to forego competition and give them and respect that country as a footballing country as well, and let them go through the process and just skip them through, I think is detrimental to the sport, man. It's a disgrace. So I'm glad that they are going through the process and not just being like, you know what, Scotland, Wales, sorry for all the hard work you've done to try and get to the World Cup. We're just going to give it to Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for any Ukrainian people because I don't, there's none here to speak to. But my point of view would very much be along the lines of, is that even what the Ukrainians want? Do the Ukraine want to just be given a place at this tournament, having not fully earned it in terms of, playing and everything else? And I understand the situation could become difficult. They don't get any chance to train if half their players aren't available because of the situation. They don't train, they're not fit and ready for the game. A decision is going to have to be made. And of course, going to the World Cup will be painful. For not going to the World Cup and not getting the chance to play could be painful for a lot of these players. At the same time, though, I think if you went up to every Ukrainian player right now and said, do you want to be just awarded it, and the other two teams step aside, I think 95% would say, no, I want to earn it. We want to win it. We want to be there. So again, I understand the mindset of the journalist that has said that, but I don't think any self-respecting football player wants that in any way, in any shape or any form. The drawing itself, people, will start in about 18 minutes time or so. We'll be bringing that to you. Bringing that to you live. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna go through it, and we're gonna, as it goes out live, we're gonna be revealing it to you. It is on the BBC, so it's nice and easy to follow. I can actually watch it on my TV, which means no one will be ahead of me, which I'm quite excited about.
You just get cash being, oh, it's this team. You're just like, bro, we haven't seen it yet.
I know, trying to keep it fun and entertaining. It's like, don't reveal it yet. We've got to keep it suspenseful. Got to keep it suspenseful, as it were. But yeah, look, it's going to be exciting in terms of. Let's talk England. I want to talk England for a minute, because England obviously I'm not saying England don't get stick. Well, they do. No matter how well England do at tournaments, there is always this element of, but you're not going to win. You're not going to do anything. It's going to fall away. Blah 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 blah. How do you rank England's chances going into this tournament,
this World
Cup, based on everything that they have achieved in the last sort of few years?
I feel like if you're supposed to win a tournament after the few years that you've had, it should be now. Obviously, progressing to a semi-final in the World Cup. The last time, semi-final of the Nations League, final of the Euros. Traditionally, you would think, well, the next step surely is to go on and then win the World Cup. So technically, it should be now. Now should be the time. If you look at the players that started with England back in 2018 till now in 2022, you can argue that we have a better squad now. England has a better squad now. So you should then therefore demand, well, if you can do that with the players that you had at that point, you should be able to go and cross the line. Now, in reality, I don't think that's going to happen. Again, England as a footballing nation, as a national team, you can say bottle it a lot. You know what I mean? By a lot, I mean most of the time. So it's within the nature of England not to get over the line. And for me to demand England to do it now, I think is foolish, because again, that'll be getting your hopes up. Is there a good squad there? Yes. Is the manager the best manager in the world? No. But does he get a tune out the squad? Do they have harmony? Yes, he does. As if you like his style or not, that's a different question. But Southgate gets places there. And I think he should be aiming at least for another semi-final. Personally, I think if you get to another semi-final, you've done the bare minimum. And then you go on to the final and you go and win it. but I don't
Yeah.
think the top seed. I don't think the number one to win the tournament overall.
It's a real interesting one from my standpoint, because I look at it from the point of view of, sorry, I'm just sending the link to a few different people that are coming on the show soon. I'm just trying to send it out to them because, you know me, organization. It's if I need someone to help me organize a terrace better. So it's one of them things where I look at England. I'm looking at the odds here as well. So these are the odds as it stands right now. So Brazil are ranked as favorites. France and Brazil, it's neck and neck, really. It's so close. England, Spain, joint third favorites with the bookmakers, various bookmakers, as you can see there, Bet Victor, William Hill, Bet365. So that's where the money's going. And it's interesting because I'm intrigued about how England are going to behave going into this tournament. And the reason that I say that is because England, I feel the World Cup in 2018, I can't believe it's 4.5 years ago by the time this tournament gets played.
Crazy.
And the Euros, there was very little expectation. And on Gareth Southgate, I still keep seeing people tweet things like, never going to win anything with him. Listen, you've said that about every single manager in the last 30 years. And you are right. Most international managers don't win the Euros or the World Cup. But he's got us closer than anybody since Sir Alf Ramsey. What's going to be more intriguing this time around is I think our squad is going to be better and more mature. So Saka older, Sancho if he goes older, Grealish playing Champions League football. You're going to have the likes of Pickford if he starts in goal, the Declan Rices of this world. You know, more experience, older, more Champions League experience, maybe for someone like Rice if he moves in the summer. But the squad is still young as a general rule. So you've got all these young players that are more experienced than 18 months prior when they played at the previous Euros. There's now going to be this big expectation on England. There's going to be this huge expectation on England for them to go and win to go as far again in this tournament, which didn't exist the last time out. The last time out, it didn't exist. Nobody expected it. In fairness, we got to the semi-finals of the World Cup, and then at the following Euros tournament, when we turned around and everyone was doing predictions, England, some fans and some people were suggesting that England were going to go out in the group stages. Now, though, I think there's a lot more pressure on these individual these players. So I kind of look at it and think to myself, how are they going to handle expectation? Now, they didn't have it before, and I think it really changes things.
Yeah, and I don't know if that helps at all, especially with the England fan base now. We saw a lot, obviously, at the end of the Euros, what happened after that. And that was with no expectation of even winning the thing. Now we've got the team people can argue can go and win the thing. Now, will that help the England fan base come together and be like, right, we've actually got a chance to win this. Let's actually come together, unite, and support the nation. Or, when I say nation, I mean the national team. Or is it again fractured as well? Because of what happened last time, I'm withdrawing my support of the team and I'll be there fighting against the England national team, so hoping they fail. Because a lot of people felt that way. A lot of people still do feel that way. They want England to fail. They don't want England to succeed. Some of them is a lot deeper than just what happened at the Euros. Some of them is a long-standing thing. But a lot of people said they're withdrawing their support of England. So it's gonna be very intriguing to see now that there's pressure now. There's now an expectation of doing well, how that affects the fan base, and therefore how does that affect the team seeing the fan base isn't as united as before? Because 2018, bruv, it was a vibe. Everyone was singing the waistcoat song for Southgate. You know what I mean? It was a good time. It was in Brazil. Now the vibe's completely different now. So
yeah, absolutely, very, very different indeed. And I mean, we're just looking at we're going to add Brian and Ram. A few more boys are going to come in and join us in a few moments. Looking at the pots here, though, there's so many good teams in there. You know, you look at the hardest draw that England can get, though. You see Germany in pot 2. There's the Netherlands in pot 2. There's Croatia in pot 2. Teams that have the ability to do very, very well. Denmark, of course, they were absolutely brilliant at the Euros. You then move down, you kind of want to be like Poland, Serbia, Senegal in there. And then in the final group, I'm not overly worried about any of the teams in there, if I'm being absolutely honest. Like, I don't think there's any teams in that will be.
Depending on if Wales or Scotland get through,
Yeah, that
I
changes it.
think that would be hard.
Yeah,
I think
because
that'll be a hard draw.
those games obviously become sort of derbies as they were,
Yeah.
and stuff along that level. But as a general rule, there's nothing about those teams that worry me. But it's a really good team left in it. Obviously, Brazil because suddenly I'm not saying out of nowhere because Brazil have such a pedigree at this level, but it's like suddenly there's this. Brazil are kind of looked at as being back. Brazil are looked at as being favourites for this tournament. And I haven't really seen people speak about Brazil as a powerhouse for a long time now. They've always got good ballers, always a good team, but it's been the Germanys, the France, the Spains, even Portugal that have been spoken about in the lead up into the big tournaments a lot more than Brazil. But suddenly, favourites again.
I think it's the displays that they've had during the World Cup qualifiers and during Copa America as well. I know they didn't win it in the end, but their displays were very, very good. They clearly are obviously top 2 team in South America. Whether you put Argentina above them, that's your prerogative, innit? But like they always will be seen as the best team in South America. So going into the competition with the reputation that South America has about football, I think there will always be considered one of the favorites, even when they're in the pits. You know what I mean? They were always considered one of the favorites because their legacy obviously they've won the most World Cups. Their legacy in this competition is so high that people who are alive today have seen Brazil win World Cups. Like that's still in their minds. So it's still possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's a bit, sometimes you get teams that are always ranked higher, irrespective of how good or bad they are in domestic and international European tournaments at club level, because their history and pedigree is kind of, I'm not saying it's not clouding their judgment in their mind. Brazil have just, I don't even want to say they're hit and miss for me. There's something about Brazil. I just don't look at them in the same way as I used to. I used to be so scared of Brazil. As a fan, you'd see when I grew up, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo.
Yeah.
You read the names out and it's like, oh my God. Now when I look at the Brazil team, they're dangerous, they're good, but France scare me. France scare me as an example. But when I look at that now, maybe I've become arrogant as an England fan because we got to a semi-final and final. But when I look at the even pot one, France scare me. The rest of the teams in that, I'm not saying they're easy. I'm not saying England will beat them, but and it's not about an England thing. I look at all the other teams barring France and feel like anyone's like France to me are favorites. For me, France are outright favorites in my opinion. And then I feel like everybody else, England, Germany, Spain, Brazil, I think they all just sit in that pot underneath. As they've all got an opportunity and a chance to sort of go on and kind of do it. And then everybody else, sorry, like you're there as entertainment. You know, a few of you will knock out a team. There'll be some great moments, but the rest of you are there for entertainment. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. We're going to bring Ram and Brian in to have their say on these matters as well. Of course, Brian, a USA fan. They are in pot to the United States of America. So England could play America again at
England. Oh, nah, give me that. Yo, Brian, I know you can hear me. Yo, give me that, bro. Give me that. Give me England versus USA, fam. I need him to hold that. Look at him smiling in his picture, bro. I need him to hold that, bro. I need it.
Hey, G, just make sure that Rob Green doesn't show up and go for you again, all right?
I hear you on that. In terms of America, I mean, I'm still surprised with a nation the size of yours, you haven't got the formula right yet to developing the men into brilliant footballers, because the women are always very good as far as I see, but not quite there with the men yet. How do you fancy the United States chances going into the World Cup, Brian?
Yeah, it's exciting because of the fact that the United States they shed that horrendous group that kind of went past their twilight, that ended up seeing the United States not qualify for the last World Cup, which was an incredible disappointment. But since then, there have been a lot of younger players that are also playing at higher levels around world football, the likes of Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Serginho Dest, Gio Reyna, Christian Pulisic. Like, all of those types of players are in this squad. And that's exciting for me to watch. I think that it's going to be there's a lot of young players with a lot of upside in this team. But obviously with the United States, it always depends on the draw. Obviously, we would love Qatar. You know what I mean? But like, we will love Qatar. But you know, the rest of them, I think the United States will be competitive in every game that they play. But the big thing is just getting out of the group and then going from there. There are a lot of big names that the United States have shed over the years, like Tim Howard and the likes of Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey's. But there are opportunities for these younger players to make their names on the largest stage in world football. So it's exciting for me more than anything else.
I hear you on that. Ram, we obviously know the group stages and the draw always matters. I think England also, with respect to them, as good as we've been at the last two tournaments, the groups and the draws have been relatively kind to us as well. But when you're looking at this right now before a draw is made, who are your favorites, Ram? Who do you expect like right now to go on and win this?
For me, it's got to be the big nations. Obviously, Germany, Brazil. I'm a little bit iffy with France because of the curse of the World Cup winners.
Oh yeah, they get knocked out in the group stage the year after the tournament after they win it. Yeah.
I wonder if Euro 2021 was like a little snippet of what's going to happen, because we saw it with Germany. Their team wasn't fully with it. There were so many cliques within the team. France can fall into that similar category as well, and I'm not sure. I had Germany last World Cup to go to the semi-finals, and they crashed out. I can see France doing it.
Crashed out. They were knocked out by a better teammate. It's different.
It was Mexico beat them. Was it South Korea beat them as well?
South Korea and Sweden.
Yes, Mexico and Sweden last minute. Yeah.
But for me, I think it's between Germany, obviously with Hansi Flick, a very, very talented coach. One is only one with Pep Guardiola to win a sextuple in the history of football. So you have to give him a little bit of credit there. But I think I want to talk about Brazil, because you made a good point about Brazil and how people, especially since the last 10 or so years, have not really looked at Brazil the same way. I think it's because when you look at that team in the last couple of like years, last couple of World Cups, there were so many little holes in it where it was like you can be get at. And I think now, I mean, there are still a couple of holes within the team, but it's still a very, very solid team. Like you got Casemiro, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva might have his last hurrah for Brazil. Obviously Neymar, Alisson.
Oh, hey, listen, Fred, bruv. Don't forget Fred in that team, bruv.
And also a very underrated player is Lucas Paqueta, because he's very important for what's his name?
Leon.
Yeah.
No, for the Brazil manager, the way he plays.
I understand that. And look, I don't think anybody's, my thoughts, writing people off just outright now, especially sort of, what are we, 6-7 months away? It's stupid to right now, because you don't quite know form, injuries, everything else. But look, Brazil have definitely got a chance. The bookies make them the favourites. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Of course, one of the big talking points before the draw starts, around 5 o'clock, they think they're starting, so very, very soon. Another one of the big talking points is this is most likely to be the last World Cup for some people's two greatest football players of all time, in Leo Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Are we expecting much from these two, who, in their own ways, seem like they've really regressed over the course of this season? It's almost like Mother Time has caught up with them. They both look a little slower, a little more rigid. I'm not going to say their love for the game is gone, but they're just, if you're an alien, you came down from space and you saw Messi and Ronaldo this season, and someone said to you that they've won, 11 Ballon d'Ors between them, the aliens would laugh and say, you're lying to me. So I kind of, are we expecting much from them too in their final tournament?
I think you shouldn't. I think you shouldn't. I like this season, everyone expected Ronaldo to lift the Premier League with Manchester United, and expected Messi to lift the Champions League with PSG, and it both has fell flat on its face hella quickly. And I feel like they're just older now. They've just gone. They are past their prime. They're past their peak. And I know it's hard to hear because it's Messi and Ronaldo. Their peak is supposed to last forever, right? But we are human, and our bodies, wait for no man. Time waits for no man, and it's not waited for Messi. He has waited for Ronaldo because Ronaldo's been going on for way too long. But it's time. The time's caught with them, and for us to then go into this tournament and expect them to carry their nations all the way to the final and win the World Cup is too much, man. Like, they're not at that stage in their careers anymore, and that's okay. Like, look at their teams. If Ronaldo or Messi were playing for France, I would. If Ronaldo and Messi were playing for France, then I would understand the expectation for them to go and win the whole thing in their last hurrah, in their last dance, the swan song. But they play for two nations that are very talented, but they always struggle to get things together. So,
well, and look, and do you know what? They both won their continental tournament. They've won the Euros and Copa Copa America. That's been done now. So I almost feel like they both had international success. Goal scoring wise, brilliant. I would just probably all I want for Ronaldo. I'm being very biased here. I'd like him to get to the knockout stages and a few goals in it, because it's probably the only last tick box. He doesn't have enough. Like, it's crazy that people are still doing this to Ronaldo, where they're adding something negative to put him down, but not enough knockout goals at World Cup. So 2 or 3 knockout goals, I'm happy for him, because then it's almost barring winning the World Cup, he pretty much has everything else you could ever ask for an attacking player to have in football. But I'm not expecting to, especially from Portugal, because I know they beat North Macedonia. There's something weird about Portugal. When you read the names of their players off, it reads well, but as a collective, it just ain't that great.
Might be the manager.
Santos tax.
Tax.
I've been telling you, man, about Santos since the Euro. Santos tax, man. They should have lost his job.
Yeah, there's definitely there's something in it. There is without a doubt something in it. There's a comment here that says, Terry and KJ, do you both remember when Germany destroyed Brazil? Yes, that game. Beautiful. That game was. I was living.
No, it wasn't.
It was beautiful. It wasn't beautiful.
It was beautiful.
I didn't. No, I mean,
yes, bro.
Germany doing it to Brazil. If it was Brazil to Germany, I wouldn't mind. But it's Germany doing it to Brazil.
It was beautiful, bro.
It was beautiful. That's what. Do you know what's funny about you not appreciating that, Ram? Is you're the lover of football stories, and the whole story of being probably the worst result for a home nation. Like, not just any home nation. This isn't like a minnow nation in terms of football hosting the World Cup and getting beat. This is the greatest World Cup team of all time at home, getting absolutely pammed.
That was too much pain.
And then also, it's also the fact they did a memorial for Neymar, like before the game, and singing like he died, right? But he got injured. Remember that? And like that.
Oh yeah,
too much pain, man.
I was like, Neymar got that crazy back injury in the game before that, right? Like, he was out. I think he broke one of the bones in the spinal column against Colombia. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the team. Again, I wanted Colombia to win that. They were great at that.
James Rodriguez.
Yeah.
The streets will never forget that tournament, man. Woo!
That goal against Uruguay.
In terms of when we look at this, a team that's been kind of, it feels like their golden generation has gone past its best now as well. But Belgium find themselves in pot 1. Any thoughts on? I mean, the last World Cup, they were like at the peak of their powers. They could go on to win this. Hazard was still a Premier League player and on weight. Lukaku was scoring goals. They had this team that everybody was scared of. Portugal past their best now. Sorry, Belgium, are they past their best now?
I mean, they're certainly not coming. Yeah. I think they're certainly not coming into the tournament with a lot of players on that squad in form, which doesn't help. But players tend to do different things for their countries opposed to their clubs, right? And I think Lukaku is probably one of those types of players. He typically thrives for Belgium, regardless of what he's doing anywhere else. And so, like, he will get his goals. De Bruyne will show up. But there are instances even in that where De Bruyne has games for Belgium where he looks like one of the most dominant midfielders in the world, and then there are games where he goes completely invisible. And so I think it's going to be difficult. It will be difficult for Belgium. I think there will be some pressure on them, especially depending on who gets drawn around them. That will add to that. It could be tough for him.
Yeah,
I think.
Go on, Ram. You go.
I think for me, this sort of scenario for Belgium is very reminiscent to what we had in 2014 with England. I mean, they're not going to do as bad as we did. Like, we didn't get past the group stages, but you think of the players that they have, the best players that they have are hitting 30, 31. And it's like, can they keep going? Can this team keep going and challenge? And I think that team sort of peaked in 2018 when they got third place. I think if they play against a Brazil or a Germany, they get knocked out.
Yeah.
Their biggest loss was with Tongan and Alderweireld. The fact once they started to tail off, their defense has not looked the same.
And company as well.
Company going, but I think on top of that as well, they remind me of England after in 2006 was the golden generation's peak, where Lampard, Gerrard, to name a few, Rooney, all these players were at the peak of their powers. Then they were, I feel like they were in and around their absolute best. Rio and John Terry, everybody, Cole, the lot. They were just flawless. Hargreaves in the team, fully fit. Knees hadn't gone yet. And then by the time we got to 2010, only 4 years later, if you go back now and look at that team and squad because of injuries, retirement, and age, it was just shocking. And like Upson starting games, like it wasn't all. It just honestly, the thing just kind of fell apart. And I feel like Belgium is at that sort of stage within their progression in terms of moving forward. Germany, though, I mean, and you always have to speak about Germany because, again, when it comes to international tournament, there are very few nations with a pedigree like them, very few. But they find themselves in pot 2. Again, a team at the minute that most people don't find tremendously scary. Didn't have a good Euros, didn't have a good previous World Cup. What are we saying there?
They might be back,
That's what I'm saying. I think
they might be back, like.
I think now is their sort of refreshing period where they're bringing in a lot of younger players. I know Nico Schlotterbeck is having a very good season for Freiburg. They've got Daniel. I think his name is Daniel Rahm, the left back, who's having another good season for. I think he plays for Freiburg as well. A lot of young players are coming through, and this is a refreshing period. So I think. If you remember, cast your minds back to 2010 when the likes of Müller, Özil, Schweini wasn't that young, but them players, they had a very, very, very good tournament and went to the semi-finals. I think this could be the same thing. And especially having Hansi Flick as well, who was part of the backroom staff that won the World Cup in 2014. He knows how to get a tune out of these players as well.
Yeah, the manager is quality. The squad is a lot younger, and you would hope. Obviously, I don't follow them like every single game, but you would hope that they're more together. There's a lot of fractions in the Germany squad in the last World Cup, so it's going to be one of those ones where have they changed that in the Euros? Obviously, it was a bit shaky, but now another year has gone by because obviously Euros were last year. Another year has gone by. A lot of younger players going through. It's a shame someone like Florian Wirtz has got his injury because he would have been another big part of the younger players coming through. Kai Havertz is another season better off and has got a Champions League and Club World Cup under his belt. This might be the time. And you know what? I don't expect them to win, but I feel like they can be one of the surprise packages of, you know what? Yeah, they've come together and they've got a team and they go at least semis.
Can I just add on that? I think another important thing, I don't think people would take it seriously, but I think I kind of do. The under-21s, the recent under-21s, I think Germany won it.
Yeah.
And these players are
Cup
moving.
Euros?
I think it's the Euro. I think it might be the Euros.
They won the under-21s Euros. I think they beat Portugal like 1-0.
Yeah, so these players are going to be moving to the first team. So we talk about how important the England team winning the under-17, under-19 World Cup. And now these players are transitioning to the first team. This is the exact same thing the Germany team is having right now.
I just think, you know what? Like again, it's a case for me of there's two nations if they're at the international tournament. Now, they don't do well at all of them, but if there's two teams that I would never write off if they're there, is Germany and Italy. Once they're at the tournament, and I know they've had bad campaigns, all nations have, but they're just teams that I will never openly just go, nah, I'm not going to do anything. I think that's such a lazy take to have. So, all the successful teams, the ones that have won these tournaments on one or two occasions, I think writing off a Germany, an Italy, a France, Spain, especially in Spain in modern day era, Brazil's. I think those sort of teams, they just always get a little bit of a pass. I may not make them my favorites, but just to kind of write them off because of what happened 2 years or 4 years ago, I think it's just a nonsense because the cycle can be really quick with international teams. You know, you go back to, England got to a semis of the World Cup in 2018. Rewind 2 years and how bad we knocked out by Iceland at the Euro, all for the whole tournament, really. The different, and look, that was a change in manager, but you fast forward 2 years and we were a completely different nation and a completely different kettle of fish. And listen, the Germans want redemption as well. They got knocked out by England. That is going to put a fire in their bellies because on the sporting level, that rivalry is as strong and as fierce as it's ever been.
And then Germany and Spain. I think Spain are another team that gone through this change now. Like obviously Luis Enrique doing bits. When the Euro squad got announced for Spain, it was like, oh, this is one of the worst Spain squads they've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like period. And they went away. They went to what, quarters, semis? Semis of the Euros and playing some. It took a while for it to get going, but they're playing some. By the end of it, playing some really good football. And so, again, they're another team that Spain and Germany. Is it their greatest periods of international football ever? No, like they've had better periods, but have they got the nucleus to go out and do something and potentially go all the way? Yeah, you know what I mean. Like they've got the managers, especially, to do it as well.
No, absolutely. Any dark horse? I'm waiting for David to do. I don't know where David is because I'm waiting to add another person in. I don't want to do it because I want the numbers to be unbalanced on the screen. Dark horses. Anyone got a dark horse in this that you think they might not win it, but watch out for this team? They could, scalp a few teams. They could cause a few casualties along the way.
You know what? Yeah, let's go with the AFCON nation winners. Let's go with the AFCON winners, Senegal.
Yeah, I back that.
With the boost that they've gotten, like not only just winning the AFCON, but overcoming that same team that they beat in the final, overcoming them again to get to the World Cup. I think that's going to give them a massive boost. Sadio Mane is going to be gassed. All their players are going to be happy. I feel like the support that they're going to get from their nation could boost them massively. And the last World Cup was actually very disappointing. They didn't make it out the group stages when they could have. And they've got a very good, very, very good squad. And it's one of those ones where if they get it together, they could do some damage. Honestly, I think they can do some damage to some of these teams.
And if you look at it player to player, they're good at their first 11 is very, very good. It's very good. It's very comparable to a lot of teams in pot 2, to be fair. So you could make a shout.
And also hold tight, Brian's better cousins, better brother, Canada. He's got he's just gone. He must have a connection issue. But yeah, hold tight, Canada. I love that country. If them man go far, I'll be gassed, man. I would absolutely love that. But Terry, I have got the dip. Can you put up the pots up again? I'm just gonna say what group I would love to see for England. So pots that I would like to see. So England, USA, Tunisia. I'm gonna go with England, USA, Senegal, or Japan, and then Canada. That group for me will be complete vibes. I would love that. I'd absolutely.
No, that's too hard, mate. I'm sorry, that's too hard.
What you talking about? Hey, that would be lit, bro.
No, it's too hard.
America
I want to relatively
Canada in the same group, and then England in there as well, bro. And then just add a bit of Japanese or the Senegal. Listen, it would be sick.
No, it will be very painful, man. I don't. It's gonna be pain watching it. It's gonna be difficult.
Now, Brian needs to hold that, man.
I'll take USA, but I don't want Canada or Senegal.
Please take the USA can beat England in a game.
No, they can't.
They
Yes,
could.
they
They
can.
could.
Yes,
Anyone could
they
beat England in the
can.
game. It's a one-off. It's a
Yes, they
one-off.
can.
Of course
They
they
can.
can. Of course they can.
You guys, I'm about to say, you guys don't believe. You guys don't even believe in your own team. So you're gonna sit there and suddenly
Well, no,
blow up.
no. Jump right.
Yeah, catch you guys later, man. Have a
See you
good
later
one.
on, mate.
See you later,
Young
mate.
Samuel's
I'm just-
joining us. Cheers, Cage. Young Samuel. Oh, I threw Brian out there, my mistake. Young Samuel's joining us as well. Pull your curtain across, mate. That sun's shining right through.
I'm sorry,
There
Brian.
we
Brian,
go. One sec. So yeah, I mean, what was Brian on your point there about like not liking their own nation? So yeah, this is true. But a lot of the people that attack England from a football standpoint, David's here with us now as well. Welcome. A lot of the people that like attack England from a kind of I hate my country type thing. These aren't real fans. And I'll give you an example.
Of course.
Because these people fluctuate what nation they support. At the start of the World Cup, I'm not supporting them. As soon as England started doing well, what you saw instantly was this almost, oh, you know what, though? I might get myself down to the fan parks. I'm going to get involved. I'm going to sing songs. As soon as England went out, oh, I'm glad they didn't win. They're not England supporters. They're like fair weather fans. And look, you know, it just is what it is. And no true, and I'm talking on a sporting sense here only. I support Britain and England in all sports. You know, if I start watching F1, there's only one guy I'm supporting. It's Lewis Hamilton. Why? Because he's British. When it comes to tennis, I support the British tennis players first. And I've always been that way. You support your home nation. But I don't like these people that can't own the fact they're England. Like, I even know guys that nationality-wise aren't even English, and they pretend they don't support England, but they moan about the squads that get announced. It's so weird. It's like, I've never moaned once about another nation's squad in my life. But you know why? Don't care.
Yeah.
It's weirdos everywhere. David's here with us with Samuel. How you doing, gents?
Good.
Terry, do you know what? We cannot lose to USA. I'm sorry, we cannot lose. We cannot lose to a country that calls football soccer. I can't do it. I can't do it, bro. I can't deal with it, man.
I mean, we can't and shouldn't get into this. I just want to point out that previously England, as a nation, used to refer to the sport as soccer. The United States adopted it, and you changed it. So I hear you, but come on, bro.
Yeah, listen, too. It's only interesting talking about Spain because, you know, as a Spain fan, the last two World Cups, I mean, have been a disaster. You know, 2014, reigning world champions, one of the best ever international teams to do it. Get pammed 5-1 by Netherlands in the first group game. Yes, we. I'm a
Spain. Let him make his point, please. Go on.
Yeah, we got pammed 5-1 by Spain and then lost 2-0 to Chile back-to-back games. And 2018, you know, we had a good qualification campaign with Lopetegui. And then the day before the World Cup, because apparently Real Madrid had tapped him up or something about that, and then they sacked him a day before the World Cup started. And obviously, we only won one game that whole tournament. I think it was against Iran, and we drew 2-2 with Morocco and drew 3-3 with Portugal. And then we played Russia in the round of 16, where we had 80% possession over like 500 passes, and we couldn't even win the game. Just one goal, which was a Russian deflection that went into the back of the net. But the key with Spain has always been the head coach. You know, that we hit the nail on the head with Luis Enrique. You know, the only thing that concerns me about us is Morata. I mean, the last tournament, this guy had so many chances clear on goal, and he can't put them away. I mean, you say Spain kind of win the World Cup. I can't see it with that donkey Morata at the striker position, because listen, every World Cup team has a world-class clinical striker. You know, and look at the couple teams. I think 2010 we had David Villa in strike. 06 Italy, Totti in strike. 02 Ronaldo, Rivaldo, and us, we just got Morata. I mean, there's no one really coming up. Enrique has said in a press conference that Morata is his man. You know, he's going to trust Morata all the way. So I'm a little bit concerned. That's the only thing.
He could do the false 9 thing.
I mean, he's tried it in some of the group games, and he's always he's given up on it. He's tried it once, and he gave up in the whole group season. He's always played Morata. It's his man.
Fair enough.
Yeah, look, Spain. I agree with you to a large degree. I look at Spain again. I see again a team that plays good football. They've got really good players on the rise. The young lad, who is the guy that balled out this tournament, the Euros? Pedri. Yeah, astounding player in him. They've got so much good talent, but it's the potency up front is what they. Again, when you get down to the brass tacks of it, a Harry Kane as an example, a Kylian Mbappe, as an example, these players will see you, generally speaking, see you through, unless you have an absolutely, like, again, Italy were very good from a goal scoring point of view in the early stages. As the tournament went on at the Euros, it was about the fact you couldn't break them down. And, you know, England did in the early stages in that final, and they had chances. They should have scored a second. If they scored a second goal, they win, because Italy weren't the most prolific scorers in the latter stages of it. So you need a strong defense, but you need that deadly nature up front to win the thing. And that's why I said earlier, I won't write the likes of Spain and Germany and whoever off from going into the latter stages. But do they have up front what Portugal have got, what England have got, what Argentina have got, what France have got, and even Belgium? When you look at that pot one as an example, Brazil, Belgium, France, Argentina, England, and Portugal all have an absolute prolific killer or more up front, and Spain just don't have that for me. They just don't anymore. So look, they've got an opportunity, they've got a chance, but I think England will do better than Spain. What are you saying, David? Like, obviously, I know you're someone who openly supports England, and you're happy to say it. Like, how do you think England will do at this tournament?
I'm reasonably quite confident, to be honest. I think England, obviously, again, randoms. This is the thing. England comes second in their group and end up playing like Brazil, and then it's just a flip of a coin to see who really is better on the day. But like, I think England are comfortably top 4 best teams in this competition, so I expect a semi-final at least. If they make it to the final, I want them to win, because you can't just keep losing important games. You have to start winning them at some point. So I'd really like it if we did get to the semi-final that we went on to win it. But I think semi-final as like a minimum is a good starting point. I think England's just got, like, overall, I think it's got one of the best teams in the tournament. I think the midfield is so good. I think Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, experience of Jordan Henderson, Mason Mount. I think that's a really good energetic midfield that will do over a lot of midfields in the world. The biggest thing is just the defense. I think forward wise we're fine. Harry Kane, obviously, got Sancho, Sterling. Like, that will figure itself out. The biggest thing is the defense. Who is going to be playing centre back? Maybe even full back were pretty good. It is literally like, who is going to be playing centre back and who is going to be in goal? Really, does Gareth Southgate make that change from Pickford to Ramsdale? Because on form, Ramsdale's had a better season than Pickford, but we all know Pickford in an England shirt is, he's a great goalkeeper.
We know one player is definitely starting for Gareth Southgate at the Euros, and that's Harry Maguire, of course.
But does he? This again for me personally, I know, like, he's had a down season, and like, you shouldn't like just like throw people out because they're down seasons. But does he deserve it? Not sure. But again, I don't want to go into
what are you basing that? So what are you basing that on, though, right? So if, for instance, you're not a fan of Mason Mount, Reece James is England's best right back. Okay, just say this is hypothetical. But if he's having stinkers for England, does that mean Tuchel should drop him?
No.
So why should Southgate drop a centre back that in his system has been impeccable for 4 years?
I'm just saying, like, I think club football's like form is more important than international football's form. So I'd weigh that higher. And
I do get that. My view is just this: Raheem Sterling building up to the Euros, a lot of people are on his back because he wasn't scoring for Man City. He wasn't delivering for Man City. That is a cast iron fact. But he was still scoring for England. He went to the Euros and was our best player at the Euros. And so I understand that you have to pick some players on form. You get a goalie like Ramsdale that emerges over an 18-month period, he should be there. If Conor Gallagher continues to improve, he's got an absolute shout to be in that team and in that squad. Bellingham's rise. They have to put them in. But I don't think there are many centre-backs. By the way, you've got to remember, Conor Cody and Mings are also in this squad. I don't think there are many centre-backs in the Premier League that are performing at a level so far beyond that of Maguire that he gets kicked out of the squad for them. Now,
my thing was not that he should be kicked out of the squad. It's just that, again, does Gareth Southgate try and experiment with obviously he hasn't picked Tomori, but like a Tomori, Ben White with Aaron Ramsdale and goal. Because then you've got that link. Aaron Ramsdale and Ben White have been playing football with each other all season, so they've already got that connection. And then just adding in Tomori might, again, that's just a hypothetical. But I wouldn't kick Harry Maguire out of the squad. I'd maybe consider, let's try a new centre back partnership, maybe. But I wouldn't throw it out straight away. I'm not saying he should be just like kicked out. I just think England have a really good, not only like young team, but I actually think they have just a good team in general. They're good, they're young players, but they are all just very good. Jude Bellingham, he's 18.
But I keep seeing the argument. And I get that, and I keep seeing the argument from people that Maguire has been so bad he shouldn't be there. But he has been impeccable for it, and people don't like hearing it. He has been impeccable for England. He has been. He has not put, barring the game where he got sent off at the beginning of last season, he hasn't put a foot wrong. All the mistakes he makes for Man United, all of the bad decisions, these ain't happening for England. So I understand. I understand that you need to rotate players in and out of a squad, but you have a core. Every team, every squad has a core. And managers for a period of time will stick to them. The only reason, as I said, that Rashford's out of this squad is because he's not been delivering for club or country. If Rashford's form in the last year for England was on fire, he'd be there right now. Well, they've gone home now, but he'd be there. And I think the Maguire stuff was crazy. Are there any other players you think, as it stands right now, deserve to be? They're not like regulars. They're not been a regular in the England squad, but have to go.
Have to go. Absolutely have to go.
I don't know. I don't think there's any.
Again, I'd be looking at the centre backs just because I don't like Tyrone Mings. I don't think he really offers much. Conor Kolias, I sort of understand as like an older head. He may not be the best player, but I get that. I just don't think Tyrone.
Maybe Max Tillman.
That's too early.
I think that's
no,
but in terms of deserving to get,
again, he's had a good season as well, but I'm not sure. It'd be like a Mings Tomori, but I can't think of anyone who I'd like absolutely have in the squad.
David, you mentioned Ben White, and because Ben White has a connection with Ramsdale, like you mentioned earlier. I mean, they'll be two good players to put. I mean, Ramsdale's already going. That's a guarantee unless he gets injured.
Yeah.
I think we should put Ben White in there. I'm not trying to be nice.
I think Ben White would be like really good for England, and with Ramsdale's distribution, I think his distribution is better than Pickford's. Just having that direct out ball, he can go to Ben White, but he can also play that ball straight into the midfield. I feel like John Pickford's distribution is long. Like I just think it's just very long, but he doesn't actually have any like.
What about this? What about Tomori? But again, this is what's interesting. Tomori is miles ahead of Maguire. I look at it and think, why is Maguire the target? Cody and Mings are not at Maguire's level.
Maguire's not that person that I'm picking out.
This is the point I have, and I don't have an issue with Tomori being in the squad. It's why is Maguire the target and not the two centre backs that aren't playing for England?
Yeah, and I think the most important people forget in these tournaments you need to have players that have different facets to their game. That's why if you think about all the teams that have been great, you think of Maguire is good in the air, like Ben White is good with his feet. Like you need to have players that have very good facets for different styles of play because it will be beneficial. Because imagine having a bunch of players that offer different styles of play that you could do. It'll only help us.
I hear that. What about what? Sorry, I want to go for these super chats. What here? If healthy, Bowen should be in the squad.
But who did you replace? Who did you replace in that squad?
That's the problem. Who are you going to take out?
Well, who got in the squad this time? Who got in the squad this time over Sancho? Because Sancho was out and Rashford. Sancho and Rashford have fallen out. Who was their replacements?
It was Conor Gallagher made up the midfield numbers, isn't it?
So they put an extra midfielder in.
I think so.
But then I think Sancho's definitely going to the World Cup. I think he's going to the World Cup. 100%.
Yeah, no, I personally feel like the right side of the attack is just very weak. Like Saka is good, but like after Saka, there's not like. Again, I think Sancho's probably going to end up playing on the left. I feel like that's where he's been played mostly this season, where he's actually been performing. So if you're going to go and look on the right, there aren't many wingers that we have that can like cut onto their left foot.
I think
most wingers do, most wingers nowadays do.
For England and for Harry Kane, I think Bowen would be very, very good because he cuts onto his left and he can score goals as well.
My pick of that would be interesting would be Elise. But unfortunately, I think he might pick France.
He's too young. He's too young.
I think he might choose France. But I think he'd be such a good maybe the World Cup. But I think maybe we should give him some caps just so he doesn't play for France.
Hasn't he already picked France? A bit like Fabio.
He's played for the under-21s, not for the
Because
season.
I know for Fabio Carvalho and him,
My
we're
boys, it's
picking
starting
Portugal
now,
and
people.
France.
The draw. I'm hoping this draw isn't like that. Again, I'm hoping this isn't more longed out than it needs to be. I'm hoping it's a little bit more.
Like they take a break after the first pot.
Yeah, just get this done now. I've been live for an hour. Oh, Brian disappeared there. I've been live for like an hour now, and I want to get this motored on forward. It's all good light shows and stuff like that. But let's see now. People, the draw is about to begin. We'll keep you abreast. Remember, people, no shout. You shouldn't see it before me because I'm watching it on TV. But still until it comes out. Otherwise, it's.
You know what? Sorry, I say it, but this is the last 32 team World Cup because the next one's going to be 48 teams.
Oh my god.
48 teams.
Yeah, next 2026.
Yeah.
48. So this is the last
Crazy.
32 team tournament.
Bryant's back with us again now. Here he is. He's back. I'm not too sure what happened there.
Sorry, boys, I'm back.
No worries, my man. I didn't. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, look, it's good. Look, I like World Cups, but the 48s is going to just be mental. It's just again, it's loads more games, which is great. But I don't know how great because, like, at the end of the day, who's this little kid that's come out with Didier Deschamps? Like some kid just standing there. Like I ain't got the commentary up. Man, like Idris Elba hosting it. Interesting. Cole Palmer, maybe. Do you know what's interesting as well with like the Man United players that people don't want in the squad? It's all very dependent on what happens with. It's all very dependent on what happens with the new manager and how those players are playing. Like if Rashford and Sancho are on full form for the whole beginning of the season under a new manager, they're going to the Euros. They'll get picked. Like they will
100%.
get. There's almost no doubt about it whatsoever. But that little boy, they're just showing like video footage of when during the World Cup of him celebrating. Like it was he's obviously a kid that must have gone viral in France, obviously after they won or something. I don't know, but he doesn't look that much bigger for 4 years later though. It looks about the same. Man ain't aged. Benjamin Button stuff going on there. There we go. But make sure you smash
the World Cup mascot. Sorry,
One second, bro. Make sure you just smash that like button for us, people. Yeah, what you saying? Sorry.
The World Cup mascot they just revealed looks shocking.
Oh yeah. I'll be honest with you. As a 36-year-old man, mascots mean nothing. I tell you something. What happens when you become a real man or grown up woman, whatever? Football boot reviews, shirt reviews, mascot reviews, all of that. If you're a grown up and you're looking into that sort of stuff, you need your hard drive investigated. It's weird. It's weird. Like you can like those things, but it's like, why does it matter? Like on a level. Because I'll tell you now, all the grown ups in the audience, do you care about what the mascot looks like and about reviewing new shirts? I bet you would get more no's than yes. Go on, adults, let us know what you think. No proper adult is going to like that stuff, right? They're still talking nonsense on the TV. They make these things into such big shows, don't they? Though that's the problem.
Just get rid of pot one, innit? Pot one, you don't even know who's playing each other. It's just putting teams in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Just do that straight away. I suppose what it comes down to it's because actually depending on the pot depends upon your location and all these types of things as well. See, like I told you, no. See, look at all the geezers. Look at all the geezers here. Look at all the geezers. Look at all the geezers in the house. And then Terence Tibbs, yes, I thought you would, Terence Tibbs. I thought you would. But there we go. They're now showing footage of stuff that I don't know what it is. Just old black and white classic football when it was a real game. It's funny when you watch old footage now, like, and it isn't to take anything away from it. You just show that the difference in athleticism now. That's why when you get people say like, these players from the 40s would beat the players from now. It's like not if it was like for like, not if you took a DeLorean and went back in time and took a team from now to then, it would be ridiculous.
Yeah, maybe for like the first 10 minutes you might get a little competition, but after that it's just gonna, people just gonna be running around.
Must break the legs first.
If you even look at the difference in build between footballers from the 80s and 90s till now, like footballers are always stockier, musclier. Like they're like, I remember reading something saying that footballers have become like the body mass now is more like a middle distance runner because of the fitness levels they have, as opposed to what they used to look like. The legs, I mean, there's a lot of footballers still got big legs, but they should be like, just like much chunkier than they are now, which that's why football's faster now, I think. But there we go. What is Idris Elba doing? In fairness, Idris Elba does a lot of football award things, FIFA Best Awards and stuff like that. Idris Elba is very popular in the football world as a host. But in fairness, I like to see proper hosts and people do the hosting rather than most ex-footballers that do hosting are awful, to be honest. Like, they don't have the chat. But there we go. There we go, people. There we go. Right. It's just building up now. I don't know what they're talking about. Showing us a nice advert about how lovely Qatar is as a nation. Probably going to be like a book here to fly here and come on holiday at the end.
Loads of step overs.
Yeah, the build up to this actually does look like you get those adverts that come on holiday to Turkey or go on holiday to Mexico. It looks like a holiday advert type thing, or a music video for the Eurovision. One of the two. That's what kind of gives me that sort of vibe. I met Mark Hughes. His thighs are massive. Yeah. Right, here we go. I mean, it does look good. The stage looks good. Champions League's got to up its game. This is like mega, though. Having said that, this is obviously is that Jermaine Genius coming out? Jermaine Genius? What's Jermaine Genius doing? No, I mean, it's obviously the BBC, right? But come on now. Like, of all the ex-England players that you could have had, it's Jermaine Genius.
Gary Lineker would have been the shoe-in right there.
Yeah, call up Gary, mate. Even Micah Richards. Call up Micah Richards. Yeah, get a bit of personality.
He's actually, in fairness, Jermaine Genius actually is. He's a very good presenter, to be fair. So he's a better presenter than he was footballer, if I'm being honest. No, he was actually pretty, until his injuries, he was a pretty good player, to be fair. Pretty good player. There we go. There we go. Make sure you're hitting like buttons, my people. Make sure you're subscribing to the Terrace as well. It's important that you get that done. Jermaine Genius, I mean, why? He's the BBC. He does a lot of like normal presenting now. If I didn't realize the other day, Dion Dublin presents Homes Under the Hammer or whatever.
You didn't know that? That's been for years.
He's been doing it for years, man.
I was like, all right, there we go. Terry, imagine Messi versus Ronaldo in the final. Oh my God! If they played each other in a final,
I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there.
No,
because it would be billed as the game that decides the debate. It would be amazing in their final World Cup. Like, obviously not from an England point of view or a Spain or USA for you guys, but overall, that would be amazing. And by the way, they still haven't started the damn draw with 37 minutes past 5.
Oh my days.
Can we see all on stream by the end of this?
I should have gone live later. That's the problem. Yeah. I've been live for like an hour and 10 minutes now. Hour and 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm bored. I'm literally bored now to get the draw done. Ronaldo all the way is what Solomon says here. Big up yourself, my guy. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. At this rate, they'll announce the new Chelsea owner before the draw even starts. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Probably. Wouldn't be surprised. It's like you don't even need to explain the concept to us. Just pull the names out the hat. Like anyone can get anyone, right?
Yeah, literally. It's not like even the Champions League where you've got to explain, like, oh yeah, England can't play England in this round, and because of location, like Madrid teams can't play here.
Yeah,
like
you can literally have 4 European teams in a group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
No, it's only two UEFA teams in one group. That's the maximum.
Okay, so there is still some stipulations to this then.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's the only thing. That's the only caveat. Everything else is just
crack on now. Get it out. Let us know what's going on.
Again, simple. I want the easiest groups I can get. I don't want
any.
No Germany's, no Netherlands, no Serbia's.
Give us USA.
No offense, Brian, but USA would be very nice. USA would be great.
Nah, I need to beat these, man. I'm sorry, 2010s jars me off.
Rob Green for his legs.
Don't blame us. Blame your goalkeeper. The United States were bad in that game too. They were really bad against England in that game. I don't know why, because England were not that good. Only got out of there with a draw.
Yeah. Intriguing. Bringing out all these different players now to do their bits. This is just Painful. Painful. Especially with no sound as well. Like no sound.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just nothing going on.
Yeah.
This is so long.
Right. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Keep talking.
Wait, who do you guys have as your favorites again? Well, who do you think is going to win? I forgot.
I want to see the groups first. It's too hard to make a judgment right now.
No,
man.
mate,
you gotta
I'm
make-
asking you to make a judgment now.
Yeah, man.
I think Brazil has a really good shot at winning this. I mean, I think they're the favorites
I'm with you.
by the books. I think Brazil has a really, really good shot at winning the whole thing.
I'm with you,
You said
Brian.
this too many times though. Like the past two was always Brazil. Always
Nah,
Brazil.
not the last couple. I was going to say last couple seasons, last couple World Cups. I never said them other than 2014 because there's a home nation. 2018, 2010, there was something wrong about that Brazil team. Now is like, is good. Is a good team. Is a very good team. So,
Yeah,
like,
I feel like Brazil's first for me, but honestly, I think that a Spain could win it if they can get like a
Striker, if you have a
designated,
competent striker,
like goal
if you
scorer.
get a competent
If you
striker,
got because that's Spain's thing. Like, because I don't think Spain are defensively good enough to keep teams from getting at them, but I do think that in midfield they are good enough to control like most of the games that they play.
Rodri and Pedri,
So-
and it's a really
what
good-
about
Yeah.
what about like dark? I know Terry asked us about dark horses. What about your dark horses?
Senegal?
USA.
No, Senegal.
Fair enough.
It's gonna be Senegal.
I think my favorites are going to be Germany. You know, I think
Yeah,
because
they no pressure.
I,
They got no
I,
pressure.
I genuinely think they've got no pressure on them. Really, I think they've got a good team. I think they've got one of the best managers as well in Hansi Flick. Like we can't forget about that. That's really important.
Also,
And
another
then-
question to be asked. Sorry, does an African team reach a semi-final for the first time ever?
No,
Just-
no.
No.
If there is one, I think it'll be Senegal. I think Senegal is good
Yeah.
enough to.
Hmm.
I think they're good enough to. It just depends on who they play against.
It's all luck of the
But-
draw. This is the problem.
Yep.
They could literally draw Brazil and then after have to play England. They're not making it through that. They're just
Oh,
not.
it's Tim Cahill.
I just don't want the United States to get drawn into another group with Ghana. Please, like, no, I'd rather see something else. It always happens every World Cup. The U.S. always have to play Ghana. It's really annoying.
Yeah, no. Every time Nigeria qualify, they always play Messi. Always.
Yeah.
They didn't qualify this year though. So yeah. Fine.
Yeah. No, I hear you. You want to see different things. You want to see new things. You want to see different things. You want to see different kinds of games going on. But I'd like to see a team from Africa go that bit. Again, if I could pick a team to win it other than England, I would like an African nation to do it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's literally Europeans and South Americans. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And in fairness, like in the last sort of 50 odd years, it's literally been a handful, like 3 or 4 countries that basically win it. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be kind of nice for someone completely different outside of the norm to go and do it, you know.
How far are we away from them actually going to be drawing the draw?
I have no idea because I can't hear it, mate. No
Look at the
idea.
podiums.
Well,
Look at
what are
the
they
podiums.
doing now? What are they doing now? They're just like,
They're talking.
They're talking. Yeah.
have we talked about the Netherlands yet?
Not really.
No, I mean, I
I
don't
think
really
there's
see them
much.
going anywhere.
There's not much to talk about, is there?
Yeah.
Like, they're
Oh,
again another like good team. They are like they're not bad, but
Wrong
they're just
manager.
not. They just don't have
Yeah.
that quality about them where you go, they're gonna kick on this tournament.
They have. I think for me, they have the wrong manager. Like I know Louis van Gaal is a very good manager, a very good tactician, but the kind of players that they have, I'm like, no. Get someone in who's a little bit more free flowing football, and then we can have a talk about them. But
Is there
for
anyone
me-
there? Because the Dutch, like, they never appoint foreign managers. I mean, England tried it, but is there any Dutch manager out there? Like, because Ten Hag ain't go to a national team.
Giovanni van Bronckhorst
He's
could
gone
have been a
PSG.
good option.
Yeah, but he
Yeah,
just
he-
went to
Gio,
Rangers.
I know, but we're talking at the time when what's his name
Yeah,
left. I said Giovanni van Bronckhorst would have been a good manager, but
Here we go. The draw's beginning now. They said, let's go.
there we go.
It says, let's go on the screen. They're now putting more they're putting more graphics up. 4 teams divided into 4 pots, 8 teams per pot. How are the pots decided? We're going to read this out to you and give you death by PowerPoint. 7 top-ranked teams, of course, with Qatar being the host nation. It's crazy as well. How good are Qatar at football? Does anybody know?
Nope, not good.
I'm assuming they could beat Brazil's record for biggest home defeat. That's fine.
They're actually the team I want more than any other nation, but you can't get them because we're in the same pot.
I think they're the lowest ranked side in the competition.
They are.
Yeah, I think they're ranked 51st. Yeah.
51st. I thought they'd be
No,
way lower.
I thought they'll be in the hundreds. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think they're ranked 51st. I think that's right.
That's good for them, man.
How have they managed that? I can't name a Qatari footballer.
Maybe they got a bunch
You
of
will.
youngsters coming through. I don't know.
You'll be able to have this tournament.
Playing where?
They might be playing for like Al Hilal or something. I don't know.
That's a Saudi team. We never know.
Yeah, but they could be playing in other countries. That's
Well,
fine.
they could be playing. They could be playing in what's it called? They could play in Egypt. They could play somewhere else. I don't know. Let them do what they want, man.
You mentioned earlier the Netherlands as an example. Looking at the odds here, so the Netherlands are like 16-1, just in front of Portugal, Belgium. I mean, Argentina always got decent odds, but
I don't back them.
I'm really shocked that Brazil are the favourites. I really am.
I kind of not. I'm not. I think
they're good.
they've got a good team. They've
Yeah,
got
but
like
all of these teams are a good team, but like I don't think Brazil are the best out of that team. Out of all of those teams, I really don't.
I don't think there's a definitive best team in this World Cup. For the first time, I don't think it's a fully open. It's open season right now. Everyone has a chance. Like I can't say Brazil is definitely going to win it. I can't say France definitely going to win it. I can't say England. I can't say Spain. I can't say Germany. So it's literally anyone's grab for who wants to be world champion, in my opinion. Probably the first time in a long time.
yeah, I mean, I do get your point that not any team could win it. It's obviously, when I look at pot 1 and pot 2, the winner is generally going to be from pot 1 or pot 2. The only team in pot 2 that I see honestly winning it is Germany. They're the only ones. I don't think the rest are good enough. And in pot 1, Brazil, France, England,
Spain, if they get their act together in front of goal.
Spain, maybe.
Yeah, it's striker.
I don't see anybody else winning it. I think there's only 4 or 5 teams that legitimately could conceivably win this. I cannot see anybody outside of that do it. It does look, by the way, like they're going to do the draw straight out. Like it's set up like they're just going to keep drawing names out straight away out of all the pots, and then someone picks out what group where they go. So fingers crossed. It looks like the first one's on its way out, coming out now. And here we go. I'll read this out to you, bruv.
Oh,
hold it down. First name out, as we know, is going to be Qatar. I don't know how you can be ahead of me when I'm watching it live on the BBC. That's
no, the home team's always first one out.
I guess, yeah, the host nation always starts
there we go,
first.
then. I'll hush my mouth then. Yeah, so there we go. First name out, done. It is Qatar, and we're going to find out what pot they're in now, people. We'll let you know what pot they are in as this moves forward. It's sometimes so long. Man like JJ Okocha, serious baller there. The name he's pulling out of the hat. They're in A1, so they're in first group as well.
Yeah,
as if
Go on, Brian.
They're going to join South Africa and being that host nation that don't make it through the group. That's another prediction.
You never know, man. You never know. You never know. If they get a good draw, then it might be a good opportunity for them. We'll see.
Maybe. Now, like Southgate sitting there chilling. See Southgate's comments about the whole Qatar thing as well. Like they weren't very happy with him, were they?
No. Speaking again, football and politics. It's tough to always be consistent.
Who just got pulled out of the hat? Was it England?
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't even matter. This is the boring bit, because at this point it doesn't really matter what pot you're in because there's no one else in it.
And we don't need to remember it because they've got it on the screen as well. So it's just like it's there just to see.
Yeah, it's just
instead of
there
Champions League.
being done. So I see England's name come out, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I was like, all right, that makes sense. So England, as we can see, England have been pulled out. As you can see there, they're going to be in pot B. So that has come out. That is going to be done as per that picture there.
Your Cafu hasn't aged a lot. Cafu hasn't aged a lot at all. Still looks pretty young.
He looks all right. He looks all right for a man his age.
Yeah, JJ looks all right as well. They all look all right. They all look all right.
They all look okay. To be fair, good thing about England being in Group B means we get to watch them on the second day. Yeah. Normally, I feel like we have to wait. I feel like
we have to wait until the end.
Like 4 or 5 days. Before
Argentina are out, and Argentina are in Group C. It just feels like they're getting pulled out in order, and it's going to be A, B, C, D. Like it seems like wherever you come, France are now the next team out, as an example. France are out.
He didn't even bother mixing it. He just went.
just pick it out. There's no point.
There really isn't much point of mixing it right now. It don't matter where they go.
At least the others are trying to keep the illusion going. He's just like, nah.
He's like, nah, sod it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, but they're in D1. Who knew they were going to be in D1? Who knew it was going to be D1? Can't believe it. I'm in shock. I'm actually in shock. And also, he must have had Botox. Do you know why, right? I'll show you why in a second. He must have had Botox, Cafu, because I've been watching him now on screen for 10 minutes or so, on and off. And the facial expression he's got here. That facial expression hasn't changed. That facial expression has not changed at any singular point. At no moment has he changed that point there as France come out of the hat. But there we go. There we go. And obviously, I bet you they're in. Oh my God, the next team that come out are in Group E. Could you imagine? Do you know what we don't want to have happen is get like halfway through and then someone pulls out, opens a ball up in England's name or something, another nation's team,
another Champions League,
another Champions League mess up. Yep.
That was painful, just in the sense of we had to start it all again. Like I enjoy the draws, but they got to make these things snappier.
Wow, Terence, that is a little bit harsh.
Got to get that ad revenue going.
Look at Terence Tibbs's comment.
There he is. Spain are out now, as we can see. Cafu's hair transplant more successful than Terry's. Bro, I'm not revealing mine. Terence Tibbs, you are just jealous, bro, because you can't afford one and you need one, mate. That's what all it is, mate. Just stop the jealousy, bro. Stop the hate. Stop the hate and be happy. There we go. My hope, honestly, we're getting down to like the last 2 groups getting drawn out now. And I'm just praying that they go cheers, and then we move on. I'm hoping they don't cut and go to like another doc, like a mini doc story about some football 25 years ago. Don't do it to us, people. Don't do it. Football fans all around the world say no. Brazil are going to be in Group G. So what does help, and we'll get them all up on the screen in a few moments for you, is the groups that everybody is going to sit within and be in moving forward. We'll get that all up for you, but Brazil will be. It helps actually when you see the group names come out. But Brazil Group G, Belgium Group F, España will be in Group E. So yeah, it's all coming down now. Last couple of names to come out of the hat here. So in Group G, who is that? That is Brazil, as we already know. So they'll be there. And who's the final nation left now? Is it Portugal? Yeah, Portugal will be Group H. But again, they have to draw the names out just in case it's not them. As you say, can you imagine that? It comes out as France again and be like, oh, we're starting.
Yeah, one of the interns is getting sacked.
Yeah, someone's losing their damn job. There we go. So that's all the groups. The pot 1 teams put into their groups now, people. England Group B is a standout. Qatar Group A. So watch out for who gets that group, because that's obviously going to be a nice one for anybody. Everyone in pot 2 wants Group A. They all want Group A. Every single one of them. In fact, everyone remaining wants Group A. Because if you're in Group A with Qatar, you've got a chance of qualifying.
Yep.
Really have a chance of qualifying. Because that's a 3 points guaranteed. Most likely, I would say, and maybe I'm being a little bit offensive, but I think that's the case. There we go. So they're all out now. Just wait. Right, here we go. It starts getting juicy now, people. It starts getting juicy.
I'm nervous.
So the
Pot
first name out of pot 2, people. They're pulling this out now. And here you have it. It's the Netherlands. The Netherlands are the first name out.
Ooh.
The Netherlands are out. Nobody wants this. You do not want the Dutch. You do not want the Dutch in your group, people. The Netherlands are out. England, big rivals of them. Now they've blacked out Group A. Oh no, what are they putting their name in Group A for? I'm confused. They've gone into Group A, and they're pulling this out. I don't understand this. A4. I don't get it. Does that mean the Netherlands are A4?
So they play. So I think they play Qatar match day 1.
Right. Okay. So they've gone into the group with. I don't get it.
They got into the group with Qatar then, surely. If it's
so
eight,
they're going. Yeah, but they're not in the second slot. So I think they play.
Okay. USA out now. The USA have just come out.
So what's happened?
The USA have come out. The Netherlands are in Group A with Qatar. The
Okay.
USA have just been drawn out. The USA have just been drawn out, people.
But where are we going?
This is the big bit. This is the
Group
big
But
B.
where are we
Group
going?
B. Group B.
One second, guys. Let's see what happens here. They're gonna. It's gonna be Group B. They're going straight to Group B. It's a guarantee for Group B. This is so weird. I don't understand.
Why is it guaranteed?
It just is. If you see it on TV, they're going straight to Group B, and they're in B3. They've gone into the B3 slot. It doesn't feel random. Damn, this is weird. How can this happen?
I'm confused.
I'm confused.
They can't. I get it. They can't be in Group C and Group
America
G.
versus England, though, is what's happening, people. But I don't understand
It's
it.
happening.
I get.
1 second, bro. Maybe this is why teams draw each other a lot, because there's actually a methodology we don't understand. Like Mexico are out now. So who? Mexico
So you
should.
assume
1 second, mate. Mexico must be able to get at least 4 of these groups, because different continents. But then why couldn't the Netherlands have got Argentina or Brazil? If they go straight to pot C, they've gone straight to pot C. This is stupid. I don't understand. Do you know what? We've got this all wrong. If your name comes out next, it's just done in order. So next is Group D. Whatever gets pawned out goes into Group D. That's it. That's how it's working.
I think it must just be fixtures then. That's the advantage of being able to hear it. They probably explained that.
Yeah, they probably explained it. Yeah. That makes sense.
We've been too engrossed with Champions League draws that we don't know what's going on.
Yeah. This makes more sense now. So the name that comes. So literally, this is Group D's team now coming out. Who's going to be playing against France? We get it now. Someone says it's easy with the sound on. Yes. Denmark in Group D with France. By the way, Mexico, Argentina, good game.
Mexico, Argentina. But what that means that Germany is going to get one of Spain, Belgium, Brazil, or Portugal, which is tough. That is tough to get through.
That is. Here we go. Next team out. Well, they're doing the what game? So essentially, I assume if you're, I don't really get. Again, I don't know, because we don't know.
So what I assume is happening is that you get drawn out, and then in the order you come out in, it goes A, B, C, D, blah blah blah. When the balls in the A, B, C, D like pots, they're literally just got 1, 2, 3, 4.
This is the team that's going to. Sorry, mate. That's going to be in Group E with Spain. This is the name of the team that's with Spain. Switzerland, Croatia, Uruguay, or Germany? It's Germany, people. I think I've seen it. It's Germany, Spain.
What a game. Group of death.
Germany, Spain.
That's gonna be good.
I'd be pretty happy if I was Germany with Spain out of all of those 4. I'd take that.
Germany versus Spain. I get your point. So if you're like, so they said if it's A4, it's the first game. So yeah. Okay, I get it. So what? Oh, this wouldn't be. Do you know what? This would be an interesting first game actually, because one of them will lose. What you think? Tim Cahill drawing it out, and it's E3. Why the BBC turned it off? I don't know about the Women's Six Nations, bruv. We're in the middle of a World Cup draw, brother. What? What's the BBC doing to me? Are they changing channels or something? No. Yes, they are. They're changing channels. You've got to go to channel BBC 2. They're changing to BBC 2. I don't know if they have. No, they have. Yeah, it's on BBC 2 now. There we go. Croatia versus Belgium. Croatia versus Belgium, people.
That's a good
Croatia, Belgium. Decent. That's decent, you know. That means it's either going to be Uruguay, Brazil. It's either Uruguay or Switzerland left. So Brazil are going to get either Uruguay or Switzerland.
Imagine Uruguay versus Brazil.
In the group stages as well, you know.
Yeah,
The USA versus England. I'm buzzing about that.
That's it. I'm happy with that. I'll take that.
We need revenge, man. I mean, not really revenge, but we need to slap you.
Be careful what you ask for, all right?
Yeah, man.
Well, be careful what you wish for.
Pulisic could be hitting that griddy on Aaron Ramsdale, bro. We got.
I don't know. I mean,
right. This is the team up against Brazil. They're drawing the name out. It's Uruguay, Brazil. It is Uruguay, Brazil.
Oh, that's gonna be.
But an interesting draw. Look, again, I know Switzerland are no mugs, but I think Portugal are very happy with that draw as well. Like, question is, England-wise, England got USA. We have got the second weakest team we could have possibly got. Actually, no, I'm a liar. We got the weakest team in Group Pot 2. On paper, the USA are the weakest team. We got the easiest draw. I'm happy with that.
Well, actually, Netherlands might say something about that.
Nah, the Netherlands are better than America at football, even now.
No, I meant that in terms of easiest draw. Like, they got Qatar.
No, but we couldn't have got them. No, we got the easiest
from pot 1. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we couldn't have got Qatar. So the easiest we could have got is America. So we've got a touch there, bro. That's a touch. No disrespect to our American viewers. But
does it have to be Portugal versus Uruguay?
Oh no, they've done that. Uruguay with Portugal. That's what they've done.
Because it's South America.
Because it's South America.
Same continent. There we go. So again, I can't hear what's going on. I just saw them put it out and they've done it in this order the whole time and suddenly it changed.
Thank you, people in the comments. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. There we go. There we go.
Portugal, Uruguay, though. That's a good game. That's a good game. That's going to be very interesting.
Wait, why couldn't Uruguay play Brazil?
Because they're from
South America.
The same occasion.
Okay.
So essentially, pot 2s and pot. So you actually can't get. So you guys lied to me. You can't get any team that's from your qualifying.
No, because then France will play Denmark.
Oh yeah, you can then.
Oh no, the thing is, because Copa America, they all play each other, don't they? So I guess maybe it's a bit different for them.
I think it's because there's the allocated teams. The majority are in UEFA.
I'm going to say none of us were listening, so none of us know. So we just stopped. You don't know.
Rules.
Yeah, don't sleep on the US. England might find out the wrong way. Listen, I'm not sleeping on the US. I'm simply stating if you could have picked one team out of there to get, everyone's picking America. That's not disrespectful. You got to play hard. But here we go. Pot 3 starting now, people. Pot 3. First name out in Group A. Iran versus Qatar. Is that going to be Group A? I assume it's Group A.
I mean, we don't know.
If not, I'll take that, bro. I'll take that in Group B. Give it the next one.
Yeah.
Give it a B. We're through if we get this. We are through if we get them. I don't know. Can they play each other? Because
I don't know.
I can't hear what Jermaine Genius is. No, they're Group B. They're Group B. Come on. Well, as well, I'm just saying, Iran versus America, you know.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. That's a big one.
Big one. Beat Iran and USA. Go on, England. We're through. We're already through. Get in there.
The scenes when you lose. The scenes when England loses.
I want Wales or Scotland now, and I'm calling out, mate. We ain't losing to Iran or America. We are through. It's coming home.
It's coming home.
It's coming home. It's coming home. We're out of time. Senegal have just come out. So Senegal, is that going? I assume they're going to go into Group A. Senegal.
They should go to Group A.
That is a brilliant group. That's a brilliant draw for them.
Yeah,
I think it's going to go back to Group A here. Yeah, what Iran versus America. Oh my God. How lucky are we that Trump ain't the president? Because that would have been a horrible build-up. There we go. Yeah, so it will be Senegal in Group A. Senegal will be in Group A. Oh, I'm so buzzing as an England fan. Listen, you've still got to beat these teams and respect them on the day. But listen, Harry Kane is sitting there thinking, all right, golden boot. Golden boot.
He could have another one, like back-to-back golden boots.
Back-to-back golden boots.
He could easily score 5 or 6 goals in them 2 games.
Oh, that's beautiful, you know. Iran, America. Oh, I love it. Connor Cody's going to get World Cup appearances.
Poland come out next. That's going to be that's a Poland, Argentina, Mexico. Terry Tibbs says it's not the first time. Sorry, he said it's not the first time Iran have faced America in the UK. Yes, at the World Cup it is.
Yeah, 2010. No, 2010. 2010. I think we were in a group with Algeria and England. In the USA, but yeah, it's the first time.
No, I mean, it's all 3 together in the group.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, we played 2010. That was a horrible night. We started so well.
Group C, Poland, Messi versus
Argentina, first game. Poland,
Messi versus Lewandowski.
Jeez, I like that.
Levy wants to get
right. The next name out is probably going to go into Group D with France and Denmark. Who could it be? Oh, go on, give it a bit of Serbia.
It can't be Serbia because remember 2 UEFA nations.
Yeah. So give it Japan or Japan.
Korea, you know.
Korea
always.
So Serbia's names come out. So I assume, hang on, that's going to have to go all the way down to the Brazil group then, because the next 3 groups on the bounce are all European. So I'm sure that's going to go to Group G, based on what we think is the logic, because we're not listening because of copyright problems. So let's have a little look here. If Terry's got this spot on. Yes, Group G. So it's going to be Serbia versus Brazil and Switzerland.
Yo, Brazil's got a good draw. They've got a very good draw.
Where did Serbia get drawn? What slot in the group did Serbia get drawn to? I'm a little bit behind you guys.
They're G with Brazil and Switzerland.
They're G2. So second name.
So Brazil plays Serbia in their first game in that group. 1v2. Yeah, that's a good game.
Yeah.
Which means England plays it. Means England starts out with playing Iran.
Oh, nice. Honestly, 6-0. I'm putting a bet on now.
Let's not tempt fate just yet, Terry.
No, we're marinating into the tournament. You don't want to start off stressing yourself out.
Tunisia out. Tunisia are out of the hat.
Group D.
No, it can't be Group B because they're part of Pot 3. We got Iran.
D.
Oh, D. Yeah, that'll be into Group D. Oh, nice little French connection there.
All these groups are really balanced so far. I am quite liking it because you have. I mean, apart from R1's like very like England.
Who cares?
After that, it's like, can Iran sneak a 1-1 against America? Possibly.
No.
It's not out of the question.
No.
It's not out of the question. It's not. I'm sorry.
Yes,
it's not out of the question. It's not.
If you don't think that we can beat you, Iran's not beating the US or sneaking a 1-1.
But you're not beating us.
Yeah, you're not beating us.
Okay. Don't. All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Again, it's an interesting one out of Tunisia. Japan out next. That'll be Spain. Japan have always been a tough team, though. They're not the best, but they're good. Do you know what I mean? And do you know the one good thing about playing them? They leave their dressing room so tidy. They do. Very respectful nation.
They gave Belgium a run for the money last time.
They did. Do you know what? So far, though, what's crazy? There is not. Obviously, it's going to be. There isn't a group of death as it stands. Like, there's no group where you look at it and go, well, Portugal won't get out. Like, you look at all the big teams in it and you're like, oh, they'll get out. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, there'll be a shock. There's always a shock. But right now, there isn't a group where you go, that's tough. Next name out, you're either going to be Morocco or Korean Republic. Are they called Korean Republic now, not South Korea?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've always been called
Morocco are out. Yeah. Belgium, Croatia, Morocco. That would be Group F. Bit of Group F there.
Yeah, one thing that is a little bit, man would say bad. There is no group of death. There is no like team,
There's
the
not-
group where
I
there's
don't
so
think-
many good teams.
No, no offense to like the teams in pot 3. I don't think you can really make a group of death unless you say like Senegal or Poland. But like,
Well, yeah,
Senegal and Poland are definitely bananas.
Yeah,
Or
but
maybe Uruguay.
What I mean
Oh, no,
is,
not
though,
Uruguay, sorry.
what I mean is though, is Senegal and Poland. Like Poland went into Mexico's group, Senegal went into the Qatar group. If you had like
Portugal, Uruguay, Senegal, that's like a group of death.
yeah, something like that
Yeah.
makes it tough. Or you threw Senegal in with Germany and Spain as an example. Korea Republic come out last, and they'll go into the group there with Ronaldo and Suarez.
So Ronaldo,
I mean that.
Suarez,
I mean
Son.
that group H, as it stands, is a toss-up.
Yeah.
Especially for
Yeah,
the second
because
spot. It's a
I feel
toss-up
like
for the second spot.
I feel like every World Cup, Korea win a game that they shouldn't do. And one of those
Yes.
games was Germany in 2018.
Mhm.
Yeah, when Neuer went up and Son just
Yeah.
punched him.
Here you are.
Yeah, that was painful.
That was
There
funny.
we go. So that's out. So we're going to go into the pot 4 is going to come out. Do you know what I'm really happy with though? I'm happy with how fast this draw has been done though. I'm so happy they've done it this quickly because otherwise it was going to be like blindingly painful to watch. It's just the Champions League got to learn from this. I don't mind a big build up if the draw's quick. So it's very well done. So I mean, in there, like again, give us Canada. Could you get Canada and America with Iran and England in a group? I'd love that. Obviously,
Can't go together. Canada and US are in the
CONCACAF.
same.
Yeah,
Can't
CONCACAF.
win
I'm
CONCACAF.
sad about that.
It'll
Do
be
you know why I'm
Ghana.
sad? Now give us. You can't have Saudi Arabia either, I suppose.
Saudi
It'll
Arabia.
be-
Terry really wants it easy.
Yeah.
It'll be.
He really
It'll
wants
be-
it easy.
Right, the
It'll-
first name out is it's playoff IC. So this is going to be one of the oceanic nations. That will probably go into Group
Group
A.
A. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
So
Qatar
is that-
part of that?
I don't know what group.
No, they're Asia. They're Asia.
They're Asia.
Oh, okay.
I don't know because it does get a bit confusing sometimes because like Australia. So that's gone into Group D. That's gone into group all the way down to Group D. That has that. So whoever that team is,
it did.
yeah.
Group
Because
B, that's
Australia-
a toss-up.
Because Australia can come out of
It's
that.
a toss up. What do you mean it's a toss up?
You never know, man.
You're gonna get some average team from the Pacific Ocean. You've got Denmark, and you've got Tunisia. You think they're gonna do anything to France?
Now
Shut up, you
think about
donkey.
it. No, the
No,
curse. The curse.
he saved for Denmark though. He saved maybe for Denmark. Yeah, maybe you can have a battle for like second, but no.
Nah, the
Get out.
curse, man. I believe in
Get
that curse,
out.
man.
Get
If
out. And
Denmark
Ecuador,
sneak a result,
Give me Ecuador. Let's do this. Give me a bit of Ecuador, baby. Honestly, Harry Kane is getting 10 goals in this group. If we get a team, 10
Bets on it.
goals.
Bet to it.
10. What group
Has
does this
anyone
go into?
scored a double hat trick in like a World Cup?
Qatar could get out that group, maybe. Ecuador, no, they won't. Ecuador,
Senegal, man.
Senegal are getting through now. They said about draws earlier.
Netherlands.
Senegal will get through that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Juan here, one of our members, says, Terry, love your content, my favorite YouTube channel, but come the World Cup, we are enemies, USA, all the way. I want England. I wanted England. Listen, bruv, we are enemies on that day. And we'll have a tailgate party here. I'll throw a tailgate party in honor of you before we kill yous, metaphorically on the pitch. The next name's out here. I wouldn't mind a bit of Ghana, you know.
I would mind. I'm
I've got a lot of
tired of
Ghanaians.
playing
I wouldn't mind Cameroon.
Saudi Arabia come out next. I doubt they can go against us. I'm assuming regionally they
They're
can't
going
go
Group
against.
C.
They're going to go Group C. They're getting. That's Messi's going to get his World Cup goal scoring numbers up as it stands. I wouldn't mind it getting into Group B, but I wait and see if it lights up purple. It won't. It will go to C. But
Yeah, I wouldn't mind
actually,
Cameroon.
that pretty much means now that England can only get the European playoff team or
An African team.
an African team, I think, yeah. But I don't know. I am speculating. So they've gone into Group C there. These groups I actually like these groups. And do you know why I like them? I think a lot of the big boys will get through. And it's going to make the lockout stages dynamic.
No easy side of the draw.
Yeah, which will be good. Unless 2 or 3 teams flop on the day.
Are there any potential shocks?
Maybe. One sec here. So the next Oceanic playoff 2 has come out. So I assume that can't go into our group either because they skipped us last time. So that's going to have to go down to.
No, did they?
Yes, they skipped us last time.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I don't see why they wouldn't skip us again. So that would have to go down to like group. I'm looking at like group G as being the potential one. No, it's gone. No, they put that in group E. I'm not listening as to why, but that's going to go in with Spain, Germany, and Japan. Listen, Spain and Germany are fine. Japan play nice football, but they ain't got the physicality. They don't have the ability or the physicality to beat the European team.
Do they do third place winning?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
That's the next one. That's the next one.
Yeah, well, you can almost lose every game and still get through, basically. Right, so you've got the European playoff teams: Ghana, Canada, Cameroon remaining. I so wish we could get Canada.
No, I want Cameroon, man.
Game out is the European playoff team. So this will be the Ukraine, Scotland, or Wales. Ukraine,
we've got that.
Scotland, or Wales. Pretty much. No, it can only come to us.
It could go to
us. No, because it's come to England. We're gonna get. We're gonna.
9 points. Maybe not 9. But like,
listen, if we get the Ukraine, I'll be a little scared of it. If we get Wales or Scotland,
I want to slap them. I want to slap them. I want to slap them so bad.
I think it'll be Wales. I don't think the playoff with the Ukraine will happen unless peace talks are successful. Because it's only 2 months. So fingers crossed it does. But it could be Scotland or Wales. I hope that Ukraine get the opportunity to play. Oh, look at that. But by the way, Scotland or Wales could get through because Scotland or Wales are better than America. They're better than America.
I'm looking at Scotland saying, Scotland, just get into that World Cup and then make it to the round of 6. Oh, what a story.
Robertson, John McGinn, Gilmore, Tierney.
Brian, if you were to play Scotland or Wales, who would you consider the favourites?
If to choose who to play between Scotland and Wales,
if either of those teams are playing you, who do you think are the favourites? America or one of those teams?
I think America could take either one of those teams.
Boo! No, maybe.
I mean, Wales. The only player that scares me is Gareth Bale. I'm not scared of a single player on Scotland's team. Not a single player.
Not Braveheart.
Not Che Adams up front.
No, the Scottish
yeah. Che Adams is so good, isn't he?
Not Scott McTominay as a backup centre back.
Not John McGinn.
Not Billy Gilmore. I don't know any more Scottish players.
You forgot Robbo.
Look at the team right now.
You said Braveheart. You already had him.
Oh
yeah.
I
will say that is trickier. That it is trickier for the US having either one of them.
Trying to get this right. So Ghana are going to go into the group with Portugal because there's already Morocco with Belgium. So Lukaku gets to play against Canada, which means Lukaku is going to score goals.
And he gets to talk in his American accent.
That's pretty good. Do you know the best group? I would say, honestly, for me, looking at that now, the best group: Portugal, Ghana, Ukraine, Uruguay, and Korea. That's a good group. It's a good group. It's a good group. England's group, whipping boys. 3 whipping boys for England to mash up.
But second place, though, up for grabs.
Yeah, second exactly. That's basically what you guys should do is just forfeit all your games already. Give us 3-0 wins in each game, all the goals to Kane, and then you guys thrash it out amongst yourselves, save your legs, because you ain't beating us.
Brian, you're not scared of Lyndon Dykes, who strike for QPR.
Man, how long have you been Googling? And Canada, the last name out. And they will be with Belgium, Morocco, and Croatia. That is who they are with.
Watch. I'm excited to see Canada play. They were really good in the qualifiers.
I've never seen Canada kick a ball.
Alfonso Davies and
history. One sec, bro. Just a bit of history. Group D. If Peru wins that playoff against Australia, would be 3 teams from the same group from the last World Cup: France, Denmark, and Peru. Oh, that's mad.
It could be Australia as well.
I'd love Australia to be there though, for my nan.
Well, yeah.
God rest her soul. She's not Australian technically. She ain't not born there, but she got evacuated there, and a lot of her brothers stayed. It's like a second country. I like Australia because of that. And be nice for big up Shane Warne. Rest in peace. And he died, didn't he? I'm right. I'm not making it up.
Yeah. No.
Bless his heart.
It's just, I was just very shocked you whipped that out for a World Cup streak.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Errol Bishop as well. I love Steve Irwin. Neighbours. You don't know who Harold Bishop is from East?
I know Steve Irwin. I think.
Good. Honestly, that guy was a legend. He's been dead nearly 20 years.
He's the alligator geezer, isn't he?
The crocodile guy, yeah.
Crocodile.
Yeah.
He was a madman. Couldn't even probably make shows like he's done. This guy once, the first show I ever watched him in was the 10 Deadliest Snakes in the World, all in Australia. And he finds this brown snake in the middle of nowhere. And this guy's like, this thing bites you, you're dead in like a minute. And the geezer put his hand down a hole to drag it back out. And I'm like, what the fuck's he doing? Madman. And again, when you hear he dies because of an animal, it's one of the moments where you're like, it's sad, but I'm like, it's like we all predicted this, so we all knew it was going to happen. And the crazy thing was, though, it happened because for the first time ever, he actually broke the rules of being around that animal. He went underneath it when you shouldn't do, and things. It's mad. Stick to the rules. Juan here says, can't wait for Southgate to sit back with a back three against the United States. Seriously, though, I think we can get second spot if Bale doesn't show. Listen, I think I've been teasing the United States. I think the United States and England get out of that group because Scotland and Wales are not that good. And in fairness, I'm always up for supporting the home nation, but I'd rather see America go through than a home nation. Like, it's banter, innit? Like, I'd love to see Scotland finish bottom behind. If Scotland or Wales finish behind Iran, it's banter for days. Banter for
They
days.
can't banter us about Iceland no more.
That's it, exactly. Exactly. But people and everyone who's tuned in, and that was a long stream today, but thank you very, very 2 hours this was. I didn't expect it to be 2 hours. I thought it would be about 40 minutes. I was meant to go shopping an hour ago. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Hot Takes is out later with me and Have Hope, so keep your eyes out for it. I had Man Like Eunice Talks Football on earlier on today as well, so go check out that podcast, all about the protest tomorrow. Match reactions back tomorrow. Liverpool versus Watford, the City and the Chelsea games in the afternoon, and Man United versus the mighty, the brilliant, the very hard to beat Leicester City as well. I'm throwing that in for a reason. Until next time, my wonderful people, take care. Goodbye. God bless.